Hey guys, this video corresponds with the second half of the Pitch 1.2 page in your music theory workbook. Today we're going to talk about half steps and whole steps. You'll see the piano keyboard here on the screen. And I know we don't necessarily use this as an instrument, but it is the easiest way to visualize what halves and whole steps are. So if you take a look at the white keys on the piano keyboard, you'll notice that there are black keys in a pattern. And I always ask my piano students which they like more, puppy dogs or kitty cats. And so that pattern can be 3 puppy dogs, then 2 kitty cats, 3 puppy dogs, 2 kitty cats, 3 puppy dogs, 2 kitty cats. And that pattern helps us to identify where specific pitches are located on the keyboard. You'll see that this black key, these 2 black kitty cats right here, to the left of that is this white key C, and then as we go up the piano keyboard, we're going to go higher in pitch. When we go higher in pitch, we're going to use the musical alphabet forwards. So this white key is C. This next white key in between the 2 kitty cats is D. To the right of the 2 kitty cats is E. Right next to E is F, which is to the left of the 3 puppy dogs. Then in between the 2 first puppy dogs is the white key G. Between the second and third puppy dogs is A. To the left of the 3 puppy dogs is B, and then C. That pattern repeats over and over on the piano keyboard. And this is a pattern that we can describe using some intervals. Now, these intervals we're going to name in a slightly different way. One is a half step. On a piano, the distance from one key to the very next key, no matter what its color, is a half step. So if I'm on G here and I go up a half step, I will get to this black key here. And if I'm on G and go down a half step, I will get to this black key there. If I'm on this C and I go up a half step, the key color will be black. If I go a half step down the keyboard, though, it'll be another white key, the one called B. All right, now a half step is an easy definition, and the whole step is just 2 half steps. So if I'm on G, a whole step is a key to another key with a key in between. So if I go from G to A, I am skipping this black key. From G to this black key is a half step. From G to A is 2 half steps. One here, and then from this black key to A, that's 2 half steps. 2 halves make a whole. G to A is a whole step apart. So if I'm looking at how the musical scale that starts on C goes, from C to D, whole step. D to E, whole step. E to F is a half step. F to G, whole step. G to A, whole step. A to B, whole step. B to C, half step. Now, this major scale from C to C is only going to be played on these white keys. I could replace this with do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, hi, do. I could do that, right? It's not that these other keys don't exist, that they do, just not in a major scale that starts on C. Now, it's important to know that all of these black keys do have names, and in fact, every single key on the piano could be referred to a couple of different ways. Now, you'll see over here on this right-hand side of the screen 3 symbols. These symbols look like a hashtag, the letter B, and I don't know what this might look like, but that's not what those are. These are what we call accidentals. Accidentals are ways we modify or make changes to basic pitches that are either on our keyboard or in our staff lines. And so this thing that looks like a hashtag is a sharp. A sharp always raises a pitch a half step. So if I'm on F and it's really an F sharp, I will go from this F to this black key right here. That is F sharp. A flat sign is modifying a pitch, so it's a half step lower. So if I'm on G and I go a half step lower than G, I will get G flat. this black key. Now, many of the brightest among you may have realized that it's the same key. Sometimes that's F sharp and sometimes that's G flat. And that's really true. We have to have ways of naming things the same. If it sounds the same but is spelled differently, we have those kind of words in English, but we have this in music. They are called enharmonic pitches. F sharp and G flat are enharmonic. Remember, we can only, we have to go all the way through the musical alphabet before we repeat any letter. So you can't have in a scale E, F, F sharp. That just would never work. You have to have a different name. And so that's why we use some of these symbols to help us keep the theory so it makes sense and to give names to everything else. Now, remember, if I'm on E and I go a half step higher, that key is known as F. We could also call that key E sharp, right? We'd also call it G double flat because there are more than just these three symbols, but I digress. So it's important to recognize these things. We will see these kind of symbols in music all the time. Now I know some of you are like, but Swallow, you forgot this one over here. This one that looks like an L and a 7 that are really good friends. That is a natural. That natural sign cancels out any modification you've made to a particular pitch. Now, we may also see these sharps or these flats in key signatures. They're not accidentals when they're in the key signature. They're just saying which modifications have to be made to a certain pitch in order to start do on a specific musical alphabet letter. Well, I don't have all of the letters here, but if we were start on F, we would have to go, if the pattern is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, F to G is a whole step, G to A is a whole step, but I need a half step between these two here, so it would have to be B flat. Then there has to be a whole step to D, a whole step to E, and then a half step to F. The key that has one flat all the time in it is, with that B flat, is the scale that starts on F, F major. So the things at the beginning of key signatures are different. If they're in the body of the music, those are accidentals, and they are things that are different and usually tell us that we're not diatonic anymore. We're not in Kansas anymore. We're not in the same place. We're using extra notes. All right. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but it should help you finish out the rest of your music theory for the day. So, good luck.